All right, Rad Left podcast. We used to have an intro. I don't remember it.
Did we have a song?
We have a song. Yeah, I'll probably.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember. It was like a kind of a cool. It was one of your songs.
Yeah. It was
I
like
like
a
that.
hollow song.
Yeah.
But then I had like a little. Remember, I had like a little. I was trying to remember it earlier. I had like a little quip whenever we launched into the episode.
Oh yeah. You did. What did you say?
I can't remember
know,
whatsoever.
goddamn.
It's been. I looked up the last episode that we had posted, and it's been 2.5 years.
There's been a lot of alcoholic beverages
Imbibed.
drank them. Thank you.
Yes.
I can't even say those words. That's how many brain cells have gone. Trying to replace them.
Yeah,
harder.
very many alcohols.
We've earned it though. We fuck it.
Yeah,
Sammy Hagar is still drinking.
yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, I
Right?
think he's doing pretty good. He's playing shows and not poor like we are.
Well, shit. Yeah, he's doing better.
Does
than
that
we
make him better? I don't know. He seems like a cool guy. Let me put it that way.
are. Okay.
As opposed to David Lee Roth, who seems douchey.
Yeah. There's plenty of these like legend motherfuckers, legendary rocker motherfuckers that have just absolutely turned into asshats,
They
or
forgot.
not turned into, but like I don't know, just wrong generation. I guess.
They've been too many people have sucked their dicks for too long now.
Yeah. I think there is some kind of mental damage done when nobody tells you no for too long.
Or
what I mean?
or it's like they got told yes for so long and just now they're starting to age out and get told no and they do not like
Well,
it.
exactly.
That too is
That's
yeah.
exactly, yeah.
So it's
yeah,
like
like,
their first-
holy shit, I was just told no. Are you fucking kidding me? How is that possible? And
Yeah.
you're like, what do you mean, how is that possible?
Yeah, exactly.
I get told no all the goddamn time.
Yep. I'm very used to disappointment and failure, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like
Makes you stronger.
yes, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it traumatizes the shit out of you and makes you
Sometimes it breaks your will to live.
Yep. It's nice to be sitting here talking to you again.
Hell yeah.
It's
yeah.
been almost 3 years, right? It's almost been.
Yeah, it was like because it was January, sometime in January was the last episode we did. That was with Bubbles.
Oh, was it?
Bubble
Did we not
West.
do? I felt like we did one over the pandemic, like through Zoom.
No,
maybe.
yeah, we did a bunch through the pandemic.
But that
over
was the last
Zoom,
one,
But
like,
that was the very
here.
last one. No, that was the last one.
Oh, it was the. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
in 2021.
Whatever happened to that guy? He was doing cool shit.
Yeah, we should get him back on here.
him back.
Those episodes always seem to pique people's interest, and I certainly was always entertained by them. So
I thought of a few guests since I'll have to think. I know that the people I thought, man, that'd be a good guest, and I think you have some too, probably that you. Were
yeah,
Just, we'll get
Yeah.
it going. We're gonna get it going again because the world
do it.
needs us, and there's no one
Yes.
representing the far left. Are we the far left?
we are the far left.
The rad
There's
left?
nobody representing the far left in the podcast space in Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, there
as
you go.
far as I know.
As far as we know.
Well,
I barely see it. I mean, I know you have to dig for it, but you just don't see like anywhere in the world, the mainstream world. You can see the liberal mindset and obviously
yeah.
the conservative mindset is very prominent, but you just don't often hear. I just don't see any real shows that coming from. I mean, I don't know. Am I wrong about this? I could be missing out. There's stuff on YouTube probably. I'm
there
probably
is
not
a
looking.
lot.
Good.
There is more of a showing for the left, and more of a representation.
Good.
And it's mostly in the independent space.
Yeah.
Like on Twitch, there's some really good quality streamers on there.
Yeah.
I personally a big fan of Hassan. I think his takes are, for the most part, I agree with him on almost 99% of things, which is really rare for me to agree with somebody that much.
Nice. Well, that's good.
So I think he's got really good takes. So if you haven't heard of him, and you're looking for some more rad left content, definitely check out Hassan on Twitch. He's got a YouTube channel too.
Nice.
And
It's just Hassan.
Hassan Abi, Hasanabi.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
do
good
that.
stuff. And he's that kind of edgy leftist stuff that the kids love these days.
Yeah. Burn everything down.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, where he's like, yeah, this would be really good for the homeless population, to like eliminate all Airbnb contracts and then just redistribute those properties to the city and to the homeless people. He's like, yeah, that would be really great for the homeless population, but my main takeaway about this would be the amount of millionaire like 20-year-olds on TikTok who would be crying about their rental properties, and he's just like, that's my number one priority, is being spiteful and, and vindictive and
Yeah.
petty. So that
That's
shit that cracks me up.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. I'll check them out.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think more and more just in popular media, we have a lot more leftist sentiments popping up, like The Boys, which is hilariously an Amazon show, very, very, very forward about their anti-fascist statements. And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And just like Homelander being just an absolute piece of shit. And he's basically like, Q-pilled moron.
Yeah.
The show Severance. Have you seen that?
No, but I want to.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that.
It's so good. And that's on Apple TV.
Yeah.
And it's about like not like how capitalism just like sucks out the life out of you, because like it's impossible to balance your work life.
Yeah.
And the balance of that. And it's hilarious because it's, on Apple TV, which famously has the suicide nets in China that prevent their child slave laborers from killing themselves when they jump out the fucking factory windows.
Who has that?
The Apple.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, their iPhone factories. Yeah,
Oh,
and it's
man.
like, but you have this show where you're like, yeah, working too much is our bad. It's like, but famously Lenin, I don't have the exact quote memorized, but Lenin famously said that a capitalist will sell you the rope by which you hang them,
Yeah.
or with which you hang them with.
That's how all
prepositions.
capitalism wants is to sell, and that's all it understands. It doesn't understand any other language.
Yeah,
It's
they're like, if I can make a quick dollar right now, I don't care if it undermines my entire philosophy.
Yeah.
One, because it makes them money, and that's the only goal. And two, because they know they're too big to fail
Yeah.
as of right now. Hint, hint.
Have you heard of any of this weird stuff about the Balenciaga? I think that's how you say it. They're that like fashion line. It's a TikTok conspiracy theory, but we've been kind of obsessed with it. But either way, it's basically like it's this huge like corporate art fucking. I think it's they make clothing and stuff, a clothing line, and they've been stealing art from people. And they were working with this one black guy, young person of color, and he was like, "Hey, I was gonna work with you, but you stole my stuff."
Yeah.
And they're like, and this gets really weird. I don't know, but it's just so creepy. Like, has it gone this far to where they're this fucking cocky in our face about it?
Yeah.
And they're basically like, "Oh, we're so sorry. Why don't you come to the runway and we'll work with you?" And like so they flew him out there, and he went missing. And his mom and people are like, he's disappeared off of everything. And there's mannequins that look just like him. And there's other people that have gone missing. There's mannequins that look just like. And the people are taking these videos of them, and their faces are like, the wax doesn't look right. Like it look up the nose. It's like, it's fucking weird. I don't know.
They're like dipping these people in molds and like.
Makes a good movie though.
That's a Black Mirror.
It's a little
episode.
out there. Yeah, it's definitely Black Mirror.
Yeah.
And it's a little out there, but I just was thinking like, would we even know?
Is this different than the company that that was like taking if you like do art, like you make a piece of art and put it up, and then it gets enough like social media attention that like it triggers an algorithm and it automatically uploads it and puts it onto a T-shirt, and they sell it from China.
It could be the same group.
And then like people were fucking with it because they were like, hey, don't like, or everybody should like this image so that it gets uploaded to this company's site and sold. And it was like a picture of Mickey Mouse. And it was like they were like starting a war with Disney by taking this like very heavily litigated trademark image.
Yeah.
By one of the largest companies in the world.
Was it actually Disney?
It wasn't Disney that did it, but because if you take the image of Mickey Mouse and you don't have the rights to it, which nobody does except for Disney because they won't give that out.
Right.
If you take that image and then try to profit off of it, Disney will literally fuck you with the wrong end of a rusty hammer.
Yeah, they don't fuck around.
They do not fuck around.
They're scary.
Yeah, and so they were trying to pit the company, like they were trying to sick Disney on the company that's stealing independent artists' work.
Oh, I see. They're
You
trying
see
to
what I mean?
basically, yeah, the
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
smart. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
cool.
It's like
Yeah.
some underhanded shit. It's
Yeah.
like that's the stuff I love the internet for.
I know. I love it. And that's what we need. That's the kind of mindset we need. Like that Fight Club kind of mindset of like
Yeah.
fucking over the system completely and like getting underneath it. And like, that's what we need, more people like that.
Absolutely. Let the system eat itself.
Yeah.
It's a technique I've been refining as of late.
All things that are not worthwhile do eventually eat themselves, things that they go through that process. I think I'd like to believe that, then again, a lot of things have lasted that really suck for way too long. Like racism is not eating itself, sadly.
Well, I mean, it does in a sense, right? Like, it hasn't eaten itself in the sense of like it eating itself out of existence, but it really does hurt itself. Like, for example, like what I'm thinking of is the let's just have an imaginary young white male, and he's raised to believe that. Not even like, it doesn't even have to be aggressively that. It's not like his parents are like white supremacists, like we are the master race. This is just somebody who's like casually racist. We'll just say they're like in rural Ohio because I don't think I have to explain myself any further than that.
Right,
So he's growing up and with this in the back of his mind, this sense that like he is better off. And he does not just better off, like, because he is better off systemically, but that he deserves to be better off.
Yeah.
Because of the color of his skin and because he's not a lazy Mexican or an aggressive black person or whatever the stereotypes that these people all have in the back of their minds. You know. And by these all people, I mean all subtly racist people.
Yeah.
Not all rural white people in Ohio. Let me
Right.
clarify.
Right.
And so he grows up and then capitalism fucks him because at this point, I feel like at one point in capitalism's history, it was a pretty good guarantee that if you were white, and you could just off of that, quote unquote, merit alone, you could be successful in capitalism. But now in late stage capitalism, the bar is being raised so high and the ladders are being pulled up behind all these people, and the class divide is massive. So no longer is it such a heavy race divide. It is the class divide is so much more apparent. So this poor rural kid, sees his POC peers doing well, and he himself is not doing as well.
Yeah.
And what is that going to do? That doesn't it just creates this sense of bitterness, hostility, and anger, and deepens those racist roots. And it just exacerbates itself. It's like it's an Ouroboros.
Instead of getting angry at the system,
exactly,
they get mad at the same system that fucked over the POC people.
Exactly,
they get mad at if they're stupid, and a lot of people are stupid.
Yeah.
Luckily, I grew up in that almost exact scenario, but I think about like, what is the difference between, and that's my parents never in the house was it ever like no snide. I'm glad, it's kind of almost surprising just because of like, you'd think there'd be some sort of racism in my house, but my grandma was racist. My grandma was racist.
All of our grandmas were racist.
But I didn't know that until how they have those little jockeys that are out front, the little jockey, the little statue jockeys.
Yeah,
she painted hers white, and I guess that's like a way of like
over the
blackness of it because she realized this isn't a good look.
What?
But she did that, which I don't know. But that's when I first realized, And then she didn't we had an aunt that married a black man named Tip, I think. And they had a son. They had 2 children. And she just wasn't very friendly to the black children. She seemed upset about their skin tones. But that was the only thing that I saw. And I remember thinking automatically, like, man, that's bad. Yeah. I'm glad I felt that. I'm glad I felt that. Yeah. Lucky I felt that. Because apparently some people, when they're watching Indiana Jones, were rooting for the fucking Nazis. You know what I mean?
I guess so.
I didn't think that was a thing. But
yeah,
a lot of people were fucking doing that.
It's shocking to me. Yeah. This is news to me.
Yeah. I thought we all, found Harrison Ford very attractive.
Well, that is undeniable, sir. Nobody is arguing that. No. I think that is one of the only facts that the right and the left can come together on and agree upon.
Not that they want him to be the hero, but that he's good looking. You're right. But God.
Yeah, my grandma refused to go to my parents' wedding because my dad is Mexican,
Jeez.
and and there was like a whole period of time there where my grandma and my step grandpa just did not approve of their relationship, and luckily, and my grandma, like, it's not like we talk about it all the time, but it is addressed, and she feels absolutely horrible about it. And
She's still around?
yeah,
Oh.
and she loves us kids and our variously brown skin tones, and yeah, she loves the shit out of us. Like,
That's cool. You communicated through it though.
Yeah,
That can be done.
yeah, and she feels awful about it. And I mean, it just proves that people can change. The sad thing is usually that change can only come about if it's happening to them.
Yeah.
Rather than happening to anyone else.
Because people love to hold on to their hate. It feels good, right?
I guess
to be able
so.
to hate, usually take all that depression and sadness and dead dreams and just point it out at someone else and be like,
blame
it's
somebody
their
else.
fault. And then you have these people that come along that just use that to get political power.
Yeah.
Get your Ron DeSantis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Rhonda.
We have so much to talk about. You know what we should do is we should start doing what we used to do, and seems like sort of an intro one we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, and then we'll have themes again,
Yeah, we could definitely do some deep dives.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure which style people prefer, the more casual conversational or the more deep divey things. I'm down to do.
Let's try different things.
both,
I like
yeah.
doing. I like doing skits too. We could do little radio type skits now for a minute till we get the video.
Oh
back,
yeah, we could do. Oh
do
man,
like
radio
old
skits.
time,
Yeah, go old timey.
or do fake commercials.
Get like some fake radio noise in there.
That
and
could work too.
Do the voices from the past. Everybody used to talk like this.
Have you heard about this Hitler fella?
He seems like a goofy one.
Yeah.
What's with his hair?
Is that a mustache or did a caterpillar die on his face?
I heard he really likes Charlie Chaplin.
Who did get it first, Charlie or
It was Charlie, and he really did.
Oh, that's why?
That is why.
Wow.
Yeah, fun fact.
And that's why Charlie made The Dictator?
The Dictator, huh? It was Great Dictator?
Maybe The
Was
Great
that
Dictator.
the name of
That's
it?
right.
Or The Dictator?
I think it was The Great Dictator.
Okay, something like that.
That's a great speech too.
Yeah.
Though he had issues too, Charlie, with the whole,
Yeah. I mean, product of the time.
Product of the times.
I have the ability to separate the product from the producer and from the times, and try to.
Doesn't mean you have to love it.
No. Because like one of my favorite authors is Jack Kerouac, and reading his books. I mean, even On the Road, like in that he's having sex with a 14-year-old Mexican prostitute.
Jeez.
And it's like, holy shit, this is cringe as fuck by today's standards. But those people were the most progressive people of their time, I
was watching a thing. There's a show on called, it is weird how that. There's a show on called Cult. It's about cults, different cults. But the first one,
my favorite topic.
It's wonderful. You'd love it. It's on HBO. Do you have HBO?
I do, yeah.
I think it's that one. I have to ask my wife. But they just, each season or each episode goes through a different cult. And this one was one I'd never heard of. It was this guy called something Alonzo, and he I just don't get, like, some of them I get because it's like they're offering things that you might want, but this guy from the get-go was a fucking prick. Like, I just can't see how you'd be like, you know what, I'm hanging around this guy, and it's like just got worse and worse. But anyways, he was.
Is it like I wonder that too. Is it like the strong man thing where you feel weak and vulnerable and you think this guy's gonna stick up for you, and so you kind of like get behind him,
That's why a bunch of people like Joe Rogan.
I don't know why people like Joe Rogan.
A lot of people's theory is that he's like the guy in high
just
school.
like a masculinity for masculinity's sake kind of thing?
I think like
it's like, I feel weak, so I'm gonna watch this strong guy.
He feels like the bully in high school that is going to be maybe stand up for you to some of the more incel type people that might love him. That because you got your UFC people that love him, obviously.
Yeah.
And then and I do listen to Joe Rogan sometimes, but
yeah.
I'll tell you who's better than Joe Rogan and is his friend, but it's almost like a mafia thing. I think he has to respect him for having given him a career, but he's so much better as Duncan Trussell.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I'll watch the long clips of them talking and Duncan kind of being like, "All right, buddy, let's steer you maybe in the more thoughtful."
Yeah, he does do that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because Joe will repeat himself a lot too.
Yeah.
He's gotten hit in the head a lot. And you just start hearing, and then sometimes, man, like him.
Well, and also he's just so fucking high, right? Like, I don't understand. I mean, I guess props to you to have coherent sentences when they're that high all the time. But
They do like sniffing salts too, and I don't know. I guess that's just they're
sniffing
very
salts.
yeah. They do like sniffing salts and like oh and like they like get off on it. It's weird. I don't know. I don't understand it a lot. And
Like the where you break open the packet
yeah,
and it like
yeah.
shoots up your nose
Yeah, they
and
do. That's
burns.
a thing they do in a lot of them.
Why?
It's like they'll order like really heavy. Like I listened to one today, and it's weird because I have probably about 12
Like
different podcasts.
the ones that like wake you up, like out
Yeah,
of like if you
but
get passed
I
out.
guess weightlifters do them too, but to like get them all. I don't know what it. I don't get it. I really don't know why they do it.
Huh.
I don't know the reasoning. I missed.
We should do the opposite of that. We should have a bottle of poppers here. And we
like
should just
amyl
like
nitrate.
yeah.
Oh
We
yeah,
should just like pop off like every once in a while and then
I would do
so it
that.
just like
Have you ever done
so
amyl
it like
nitrate?
does the opposite of that where it's like I feel like that's really focusing.
Like
Like okay, all right, I'm awake, I'm on topic, and that one will be like just a topic derailer.
yeah.
And it'll be like wait, what were we talking
Or
about?
just bring a
My butthole
big
feels
canister.
really loose.
That's what they say, isn't it? They
Yeah.
wash your butthole.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's sold at sex shops and stuff. It's really big
Oh.
in the gay
Have you ever
community.
done any?
Yeah.
I've never done one.
Yeah,
Does it
it's
feel good?
it is yeah. It's a dissociative. So if you like dissociatives,
And would dissociatives be like blah, blah, blah,
ketamine.
ketamine? Yeah, I did
Yeah.
that once at a Ween concert, and I did the very smallest amount because my friend I was with. I think I've told you this, but my friend I was with. It's been too long. I'm going to repeat stories. damn it.
Yeah.
And I haven't done anything too exciting the last 10 years, other than I just haven't done these kind of things.
Yeah.
Kind of miss it actually, but kind of. But stuff like this, I remember it was really hot, and my friend he was just doing drugs, and I was like, and he's older than me, and I was just kind of watching him, and he'd keep passing me, and I'd like pocket him, like, yeah, I'm doing them, but I just like, I don't want to.
Oh yeah.
But then I couldn't fake doing a little bit of this because he was right there watching me.
Yeah.
So I did like a little, and I did just enough, and I remember my legs were just wobbly. That
Oh
was
yeah,
like
you
trying to
get real
kind of-
wobble.
yeah, and I was like, it was hard. I can't imagine doing like a fucking line of that. Have you done a lot of it?
Oh
I
yeah.
think you have a story. You told me
Oh,
like
yeah.
I think I remember your
So
story
many
kind of.
stories.
Yeah, you were like at a party or something, and you like totally were outside of yourself for a minute. Was that you? Or was that someone else?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you kind of K-hole if you do too much, especially if you like mix it with other stuff. Like I didn't realize that it doesn't mix very well with Adderall, and I had a prescription.
Oh.
And one time, yeah, I did that when I mean I was only on like 5 milligrams or something. It was like a really low dosage, and I was like fucking gone. Like, luckily my friend was there, and she was like, "You got this, buddy."
Huh. You always
Yeah.
need a good friend.
Yeah.
Have you? What's the most afraid you've ever been on any drug or substance? Do you remember any time where you thought like death was rapping at your door or anything quite like that? I feel like you.
Yeah, I've had quite a few. It's really why I don't do acid anymore, and why I'm mostly afraid of mushrooms, because I've had too many like panic attacks and
that's the
on
worst, yeah.
psychedelics, and panic attacks on psychedelics is the epitome of the worst.
Yeah, it's like magnified.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's probably the one you wouldn't die on, but
Well, from the drug,
but you could have a heart attack. I'm sure.
Yeah,
there's
well,
people that
yeah,
have-
that or jump off a like this one time in particular, like I mean, I was hanging out with somebody who absolutely like freaked the shit out of me. Like he was just being really fucking weird, and it really sketched me out. And apparently, the acid we had taken was especially strong.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just fucking lost it, and then you go into this like fight or flight response, and I was like, I just kind of bolted, and I tried to get into like the nearest house because I was just like, I just want to go home, and start ripping on some stranger's like front door. You're just like freaking out, panicking. And this was, when I was like a sophomore in college, so it's been like, I don't even want to think about how long ago that's been, but over a decade.
Did everything start kind of appearing aggressive to you?
Yeah, everything. And then we went and sat down at the train tracks, and this train came by, and it was just like, oh my God, it was just so much. It was like way too much to handle. It was just so overwhelming, and I like took off bolting and ended up like climbing on to the. It was like
Or were you just
next to a
were you
bridge
completely
going over
in a panic? Were you like in a
Yeah.
panic, just like
Wow.
Wow.
Fight or flight. Like I was just like
Interesting.
gone. So I just bolted, and I mean, luckily I didn't trip and fall into the
heart
train
pounding,
or something.
heart pounding
Oh
like
yeah.
crazy?
And I went over to because the train was like on a bridge, like an overpass over a road.
Yeah.
This is over by North Broadway, and I like jammed myself in between the street sign that was on the bridge, you know,
Yeah.
saying, you know, like what the exit was coming up,
Yeah.
like with the big green street signs.
Yeah.
I jammed myself in between that on top of like a metal pole, just dangling myself like over top of this overpass. Like if I would have
Jesus.
fallen, I mean, maybe I wouldn't have died, but like I would have been very severely injured, you know,
Yeah.
or depending on how I landed.
How long did you stay there?
I just kind of jammed myself in there. I have no idea, no concept of
Yeah,
time at
because
that
that's
point.
just what you remember from the experience. And
Yeah.
stuff takes over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember like looking at the sky and it was like I was in a snow globe but instead of like, you know, the like a glass dome, it was like it was like covered in paisley. Like it was,
Oh, that's
you know, like from
good
like
visuals.
from the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I hadn't been in horror mode, it would have been very beautiful, but it was yeah.
I know the first time I did acid, well, it was like a 4th of July, and that's not the first time I did acid. I don't mean to say it like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but I did have a paisley thing. It's weird with the paisley because I never saw the paisleys again. But I did it. Well, I'd done it at one time and it didn't do much, and I remember not expecting much, so I had really low expectations. And then I didn't realize the value of LSD as compared to marijuana. And I had some friends, and I remember it was 4th of July, I think like 1991 or something,
yes,
1993, something. Yeah, 4th of
Yeah.
July always have weird things that happen. But like,
Especially when you mix acid in.
yes, it's always like a weird, poignant thing going on. Okay, there's something there. We'll have to figure that one out.
Yeah.
But like, my friends got mad at me because I gave the acid away for pot, and I thought that was a good deal. Because like, you know, pot lasts longer, and they were like fucking pissed. They're like, dude, no. Which now I get kind of. They're like, that's not no, like that shit's hard to get, and this is fucking. So they
Yeah.
kind of treated me like shit, and then they started tripping, and they kept like blocking me out, and I was being that little like, I mean, I want some, give me some, and then finally at the end of the day. Come to think of it, these guys aren't the greatest friends, but they gave me like a test strip, like a whole bunch.
No, they gave you like a 10 strip?
Yeah, I guess I thought it was test strip, but 10 strip. I guess it is 10 strip.
Yeah,
They gave me a
10 hits,
fuckload,
yeah.
and
And told you to take it all?
yeah, I guess, and I took it, and then
fuck.
it was like, so I remember being. This is how it started getting to be because I had a shirt on that kind of had paisleys, and we're listening to the Beatles. I remember Strawberry Fields Forever.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite
Yeah.
on acid.
Because it becomes 8 different songs,
Dude,
and I'm sitting there. I'm
good.
sitting there drawing. I remember drawing. We were in like a dimly lit apartment
Uh-huh.
in my hometown, and like they're each like laying on the because they'd been tripping for a while. And
Yeah.
I remember when it started to hit, I mean like, let me take you down, and I'm like, God damn, and I'm starting to see. Because there's also a flame from a candle, and then the walls started going,
Oh, yeah.
going, and it's everywhere. And I'm like, holy fuck! I'm like, I'm in another world. And then you know when a car goes by,
Yeah, yeah.
and you see the lights on the wall,
Uh-huh.
that started happening like, and then I'd like,
Yeah.
I'd like, is that? And then it'd be like, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then just shit just got fucking weird, dude. Like, it got crazy. I thought I was dead. I thought I was
Oh, yeah.
dead. I remember I opened up the window and I could see through buildings. And I remember looking at my hand, and it was like I was like, oh, this is how it is. I thought this is a big joke, and I am the butt of the joke. Like
Yes.
I'm here now forever. Like, and my hand kept decaying and coming back and decaying and coming back, and I was like, I felt I was completely isolated in this, and I just started going for a walk. I just went outside. I remember I had a blanket around me, and I just like I guess, and I had this girl. Her name was Jenny Poigno, and I was in love with her because I was still in high school. And I remember thinking, I'm just gonna go to her house and be a ghost in her house because I love her, and I'm gonna go watch her and hang out and be around her, I guess, because I don't know what else to do. I had nobody. I didn't think to go back to my house, which was right down the road. It's weird.
Yeah.
So I went walking down the road, and it's what was so weird, James, is anytime a car started to come, where I was like, okay, what's gonna happen if it always would turn. I never had another experience with another human being until I get to this girl's house. I don't know if it was about morning at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't know I think I broke and entered. I think I did. Because I remember going in and not being sure if it was her house and walking into someone's house, and I saw like pictures of family. And then something luckily said to me, like I heard like someone snore or something, and it brought me down enough to be like, Casey, get the fuck out of there. What are you fucking doing? And I just went.
Moment
and
of clarity.
It was like a moment. I started coming down.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was never gonna. I never had it come down. Because I was like tripping so hard.
Yeah.
And I started. And there's a lot of other weird things that fucking happened. I'm editing out, but I sat on this one bench and I started like just like tripping out. And then it wasn't until I had to pee. And then I was like, you know what? I must still be in a body. I didn't die. I'm not just dead. I'm not a ghost. And that was weird, man. It was fucking so heavy.
Oh yeah.
That was such a weird thing that it happened.
Being shoved back into your body is one
Yeah.
of the most like unpleasant and canny things.
It's unpleasant, but also I was kind of thankful. I was like, okay,
Right.
I can still like finish up my life. Like I did
Yeah.
not done. I thought that was it. I thought I'm
Yeah.
gonna be wandering
Oh yeah.
forever, like a fucking hungry ghost. I'm just this fucking thing that's gonna wander, and
Yeah.
no one's ever gonna talk to me again. I'm gonna just be this thing that just exists, and I'm not gonna get hungry or have to. I'm just gonna be forever. I'll like fucking go to Paris or something. What do I do? You know, I was trying to
Yeah.
think of my options. Like, what do I do? So I'm like this forever now. This is it. It was weird, but little did I
I
know,
love the acid brain is
it
so
is so
it
weird.
is so funny. You're just like, wow, most horrible thing ever.
Yeah,
What am I gonna do? And
Yeah.
you just come up with the most ridiculous
Yeah.
solutions.
yeah,
Like one time, this was a part of a very, like you said, like there's a lot edited out of this, like a lot. This was
Right.
this was a night.
yeah.
This was a night that had acts to it,
Yeah.
like act one.
It does
It
come
had
in
like
acts.
climaxes,
Yep.
and it was like a whole storyline.
Yeah.
Like it actually, yeah, very long. It's in my first novel that I wrote, actually.
Oh, yeah.
But like at one point, I lost track of one of my friends. He just like left my house, and I didn't know where the fuck he went. And I was just like looking around my house for him, even though like he like left the house.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I'm pretty sure he's around here somewhere. I was like looking under under cups in the
You just couldn't
cupboard.
fathom that he was going.
Yeah, in drawers. I was like I looked under, under tables and stuff, and I was like, where the fuck did this motherfucker go? And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a break and get some ice cream, but I gotta remind myself to look for this motherfucker. So I got a marker and wrote on my arm and I was trying to remind myself to look for him, but what I wrote on my arm was so fucking cryptic. I don't remember what it said, but it was just like
It
it
wasn't
was something
gonna
like
remind you,
yeah, it was just like follow the signs, you
Yeah.
motherfucker, or something like that. It was
Yeah.
like had nothing to do with it. And then I sat there and ate ice cream and completely forgot about my friend, and
When did
and then
ever-
he came in. Like while I was eating ice cream, actually, he came in and he had apparently jumped into a pond,
Jesus.
and he took off his pants and jumped into a pond and couldn't find his pants. So he came in soaking wet and like covered in grass and just pond scum,
That's
and
fun.
wearing his t-shirt as pants. Like his legs were through the armholes, and he came in and he's looking feral, and he's looking at me like he's like, what the fuck? And I'm sitting there eating ice cream, like all casual.
Yeah.
And I'm just scooping it out.
He's weirded out by you.
Yeah, and he was weirded out in general. He's like, what the hell has happened? And I'm
He's
like,
just tripping his balls.
yeah,
out,
and I sit there and I'm like casual. I'm like, what the hell happened to you, man? Just like, yo, where you been? And he's like, I was in a pond. And I was like, wow. Anyway, you should try this ice cream, bro. It is wild. And he's like, I was in a fucking pond, dude.
Why?
I don't know. The night got out of control.
Man, isn't that fun though? Like you're kind of walking in between reality and a dream and
Absolutely.
your childhood. Because like
Oh yeah.
only like my daughter is acting like that right now. Like
Yeah.
that's how she's acting in the world, and it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
beautiful thing to be around. It's cliche, but it's very true.
Mhm.
And you've been around kids, but like
Oh yeah.
it's so nice to have that reminder because like
They're like drunk. They're like drunken
They're
adults
drunk.
at a certain age. But yeah, there's that acid age where they're
and they
like, "Holy
see-
shit, my
yeah,
hand!"
and everything. Like her mouth. We laugh because her mouth's constantly open. She's
Yeah.
constantly in awe of everything.
Awe-
But
the
she has her
awe
moments,
phase,
but
yeah.
she's always like
Whoa.
everything's like fucking, and like she can just go. We take her to the pool and she just looks at the paint thing on the wall and like tries to kiss it, and like she's just like
Yeah.
tripping her balls off.
Yeah.
But like I love that because that to me is like okay, that's actually the natural state we're in.
Yeah,
That is the natural. This other stuff's causing us to coagulate and fucking
Yeah.
tighten up and be
Yeah.
neurotic. Fucking these things we don't.
Yeah.
We're gonna get rid of this. We're not gonna like being. We don't want to be these things.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to get rid of it.
I think it's a coping mechanism, man. Like
Yeah.
like
We're in
uh,
an
the
unhealthy-
abuse starts happening, and we start putting up walls and stop
send
being
you to
amazed
school.
by
Yeah,
things,
they send you to
and
school.
they send you to school.
It's the Supertramp
They
song, a logical
assimilate you.
song. It's all in there.
Yeah,
It's like they sent me away to teach me how to be logical. But he's talking about when he was a kid, he used to sit there and look at the birds and they'd sing to him, and he's like, "I'm fucking in heaven right
yeah.
now."
Like
And
this is
then-
beautiful.
Then it's like,
Forget about beauty. Let's think about logic.
exactly. What would they say? They'll be calling you a radical, cynical, fanatical, criminal. And it's like all that shit's fucking true, dude. It's like they take you and they just tell you like, oh, your thought. It's the mafia trick. They fucking do that shit, man. They fucking make you feel guilty about your own goddamn natural self. I'm on a real big debate about sex right now because I'm like, should everyone be having more sex, or are we right where sex should be, or should we disregard it? I don't know, because like There's this one porn I watch, and it's called "If Sex Were Easy,"
Uh-huh.
and it's just people fucking wherever they want. And I'm like, how much mental illness and psychological and physical illness would we bypass if we all just fucked a lot more without guilt and a lot more readily? And I don't know if that's the answer, or we should just disregard that completely. I'm really on the fence. It's been bugging me lately.
I feel like a hybrid of that, right? Like where it's like you don't have to fuck all the time, and I feel like you shouldn't have to be subjected to that if you don't
Definitely
want
consensual.
to.
You want consensual,
Right?
right?
But we should definitely break down the barriers of like it being a sin, like
And
this
guilt,
puritanical, guilty thing that we have with it.
But that's one of the big tools they use to get in our heads.
Well,
Sex
yeah.
is the
Because
easy
it's-
way because it's such a we can't.
We
I mean,
need it.
We need it, and they make
Well,
us feel
some
guilty.
some of us need it.
I feel like I need it.
Yeah.
I think everyone needs it, but only some people can admit it to themselves.
I think asexual people do exist. There are people,
interesting.
and I know that's a hard pill to swallow.
It
But
might be. I just don't.
asexual people do exist where they are not interested in sex.
Why do they exist though? Is it their own
Because
doing?
it's a spectrum.
Interesting.
No, I don't
All
think
right,
so.
all right.
It's just like any other sexuality. It literally is just like any other sexuality. You know that it's exactly like asking, does a gay person did they do that to themselves? You know what I mean?
Do asexual people get horny?
It depends. It
But
depends
do they
on
masturbate?
It depends. It
Do you
completely
know
depends.
any asexual people?
I do.
I kind of think I do too. At least people that have just shut it all down.
Yeah.
Like my mom
Well,
just shut it all down.
There's repressed, and that's not the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are people who are so embarrassed because they are a sexual being and they're ashamed of that they shut that down. That's not asexual. That's repression. I'm talking about people biologically, like born without the just implicit desire to always have sex or have a sexual drive or be sexually attracted to people. It is very, very hard to grasp as a sexual being.
Yeah.
I understand, and also because of like the biological nature of what sex means. It's like literally, quote unquote, should be ingrained into our brain to reproduce. So just from like a biological evolutionary, perspective, I can it seems baffling, but
You're bringing up. You're maybe
there's so many things I don't understand.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good to point out because I do make the mistake, and I think a lot of people make the mistake of thinking everyone thinks or should think or do think like you do.
Oh, that's everyone,
and I just always assume everyone likes it, but it's like no, you gotta. And it's weird that I still think that. But
no. I catch myself all the time.
It's weird
all the time. It's like I'm like, why don't you see it this way? I find this way to be the most logical, efficient way.
Yeah.
And then and then I have to like catch myself, and I don't often don't catch myself. And this is a personal flaw of mine that I'm like oftentimes people don't need to do things in the logical, most efficient way. And also maybe your way is not the most logical, efficient way, but also some people might want to take the scenic route. Or maybe some people want to figure it out for themselves. Or maybe people just don't care about doing it efficiently, and as long as it gets done, what does it matter? Or if they don't even get it done, what does it fucking matter? What does it any of it fucking matter?
I know there is a weird like, because I have that too. Even with wanting people to like things I like movies or music, and that's not as strong. But when it comes to big concepts like sex, like my wife and I, like it's a hard. Sometimes it's like I wish you understood. Like how horny I get, man. Like I wish you but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I totally get it because like sometimes we're on like a month will go by and I'm like it's nice to not need that at all right now.
Take a
just
break
be like,
from it,
But then sometimes I'm like, God damn it, how do you not want to fuck? Like,
and then
now?
you can't remember what it's like to not be that way.
I know.
And then when you're in the other way, you're like, I can't believe that I was
so weird.
that horny all the time. It's
know.
like what do I do with my life when
And
I'm
it
that
can
horny?
happen from day to day.
Exactly.
It's like it can be within that day.
Oh yeah.
Well, I do remember first finding out about what sex was. Now, I remember getting like aroused at a very young age, like having, I think, erections, but I would wear these little like plastic pants and something about wearing them just worked it for me. I don't know what it was about at 3. I remember being like, this feels good wearing
Like
these. It must have been something
going on, yeah.
But I didn't associate that with anything. I didn't know what sex was.
Probably more of like a body thing,
yeah,
right?
it just
like,
felt good, but it was like, oh, my whole body. But I remember kissing girls intense, and that was probably the best kissing that ever happened because it had nothing to do with this. The kissing was like, I was tingling all over. It was like pure tantric, like, oh my God, I am kissing a girl right now. And it felt like
so innocent.
Extremely alive. But the best feeling, I don't think I've ever reached that feeling with any sex I've had. maybe in a
Yeah.
dream, maybe weird dream sex where your whole
Yeah.
body's tingling and you're doing some shit you can't understand.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, and then my friend, because I thought my friend was going to tell me, he goes, hey, I got to tell you something. It's my friend Jeff. I don't know, I'm probably fucking 8. And he's like, I got to tell you something. I thought he was going to tell me Santa Claus was, I was like, yeah, I already know about Santa Claus. He's like, no, do you know like what sex is? Like, I think. He's like, you like put your dick in a, and I remember being like, oh, what? Like, no, like I don't want to. And I remember being, my instinct was to be repulsed by the idea.
Yeah.
So that is weird. Is it a thing we're taught to feel? Because then I started being introduced to like Playboy magazines,
Yeah.
and I started seeing body parts and be like, it's weird. Like how much of that is programmed into us? Maybe
Well,
I don't know if it's purposely programmed, but just caught over time. And how much? I mean, I don't know. If you grew up in a different society where there was no porn or any kind of nudity, would you have the same desires for those
no
things?
porn or nudity?
I guess there wouldn't be not. Nudity.
That would be probably like.
It really have to be like strict, like Muslim.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like in
gotta
Islamic country. I mean, I guess I don't actually know what their policy on porn is. I'm guessing that they're against
It can't be good there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think they're
'cause-
into that.
Yeah, because it seems like a vice
Yeah.
that they would not
Which
be
has to
into.
make
But
it so
I
much
can't
hotter.
specifically say that I know that they're against porn, but it
Yeah.
seems like a good guess that they
I
are.
know. It'd be interesting. Do they
Like the
do
more
that?
the fanatical one.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're talking about the radical.
Yeah, because that's one of those
Islam.
things. They don't all act like they're not.
No.
all
It's just like
fanatical, right?
Christianity. Yeah,
Christianity.
Christianity.
Do they all? Do they run the place? The fanaticals? Do they run it? Are they in
I mean, it
control
depends
of
on which
government?
country you're talking about.
Gosh, right.
Obviously, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, just like the rest of the world, the religious hegemony is typically the most powerful one. It's
Yeah.
typically the
Well, let me put it this way: Can you get?
fascist
Can
regime.
you get like killed for watching porn there? I guess we don't know this.
I have
do
no
we?
idea.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, I don't
Someone
know.
let us know.
I mean, it doesn't seem far fetched that you could be killed for any random fucking thing anywhere if some crazy religious fanatic says so. So it doesn't seem beyond it. But yeah, I mean, it does raise it does raise a good question of like. I mean, I think puberty has a lot to do with it too, because like before you hit
yeah. True
puberty,
point.
you're not. I mean, and this is like a biological process that's like, well, you're not matured enough to have
Yeah.
to reproduce.
That's a good
So
point,
you're
too.
not going to
Yeah.
have a drive to do that when you're a kid.
That's true. Because I remember those kind of like erections you'd get in like math class or Unstoppable
God.
back in those days.
Dude,
They're almost
I do
horrifying.
not
No,
miss.
I don't
I
either.
do not miss being pubescent.
It's so hard.
Boy, I do not miss that whatsoever.
I had so many pimples, and I was so.
Oh God.
So if
and my
I was-
emotions, man. I was like, if I don't fuck somebody,
I know.
I'm like, I haven't fucked anybody yet.
I know.
And I've only been in puberty for like
but you
a
didn't
year or
even know.
two.
You didn't even know that was what you needed. You didn't really know.
I was like, I feel like my life is ending. I'm never gonna live a fulfilling life ever,
Until
and and it's just never gonna happen, and I'm doomed.
I know that's. I thought
I will
that
never
too.
find love.
And
Nobody will
that's why-
ever love me.
I know that's what I felt too.
That's
'Cause-
why it's such a sad thing to see shit like this Andrew Tate bullshit. I don't know if
Yeah,
you,
I pay attention.
dude,
Not
like
because
that
I
kind of
want to,
shit,
but-
because that shit's targeting people in
I
that
know.
really, really vulnerable state where they're like, I will never be loved, and I don't know why. It's because I have, my nose is too big. I have a weird cock eye, or I have a weird cock, like any body dysmorphia bullshit that, we all have to a certain extent, but it's so much more exaggerated in our teens.
Yes.
And
is
you
totally
know, I
hitting
mean,
that,
people
yeah.
always talk about that shit with women. And you see it and it's really sad. You hear about anorexia and bulimia and stuff like that, and and not downplaying that at all, but like it's a thing that we're talking about more and more now, which is great, is that happening, the body dysmorphia and feeling that way in men, because like really, and it's something we should have been talking about like a long time ago, because where does this feeling of needing to control women's bodies to rape and murder, and where does all of this come from? It comes from this deep-seated self-loathing that men have,
Powerlessness.
and feeling hopeless because you'll never be loved, you'll never be fucked, you'll never be touched.
And what were we talking about?
And it's been taken from me as a man. I'm a leader.
exactly.
I'm supposed to be the one that is in control, and when I'm not, I have to lash out in some way.
No, you're
and
right.
I'm going
It's
to join a
that-
far right militia, and
There's
be
the
an
people that'll
incel
protect
online.
me, and they'll that's exactly it. You're right.
It's a
There
pipeline.
There were flyers of that going around. Did you see that on
I
Facebook?
saw that.
Yeah, flyers going around today. That's a pretty normal thing now, I guess. I
Fucking
mean, I've seen
hell.
that,
The shit
but
in Franklinton
yeah, yeah.
with the
Showed like
the Ku Klux
Ku Klux
Klan.
Klan. I guess
With
that's not
the,
even. That's a different one, isn't it?
I mean,
That's
that was just straight for white
God
supremacy.
damn. You're
That was
right.
just straight like that. I don't. That's some old timey racism right there.
That's weird.
Like literally had a Klan.
Yeah, you're right. Because that's
member
not
on the
even the
front.
far right. That's not even like these guys that we're kind of used to being around here.
Yeah, yeah.
the
Not like the
fucking-
Patriot Front or
Yeah.
the Oath Keepers or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just straight up like, you know, like Southern burn a cross on your
I know.
lawn style. Have a
Jesus.
lynching
Who's doing
style.
that?
Like,
Shit?
who the fuck?
I know who's out there fucking starting that up.
Ooh, man. I don't even know how I'd react if I saw somebody putting that on my car. I would
know.
freak the fuck out.
Yeah. That's the reaction we need. We need people to be
Ooh.
fucking like, fuck this. We're not going to accept this at all. You need to be
Yeah.
shamed publicly. But unfortunately, there's more people than we want to be comfortable with that are okay with that. In fact,
Absolutely.
want it. They want that for some
Wild.
reason.
Absolutely wild.
It's the powerlessness thing again. It's like they aren't
Mhm.
willing to. Like I've been watching this thing that's confusing because it's like Russell Brand. He's weird because all these people, like some of them even like Jordan Peterson. It's like
Yeah.
I'll hear things he says that I'm like, okay, there's some truth to that. But then I go into his stuff and it's always tied into weird churchy Christian shit. And I'm
Mhm.
watching this movie that they're talking about now. Like it's kind of been everywhere. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like, God damn it.
Oh, is it the one about
Sex trafficking.
sex
Yeah.
the child
Yeah.
trafficking
seen that
in South America?
Yeah.
I think.
And
Yeah.
the guy's coming out and he's talking about it. And like, they
With
got
with the Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel, who's
God,
such
what a
weird, I know,
motherfucker.
he's been struck by lightning too many times.
Dude,
apparently.
on the set.
He was. But do you
of-
see how he talks?
Oh my
He
god,
talks like he's being
dude, he's
forced.
Q-pilled to the max.
Something's going on there. Yeah.
He's Q-pilled.
No.
He absolutely is.
And
Oh, yeah,
I'm
he's a
all
fuck.
for.
He's a
I'm
fuck.
all for. Yeah, if this is happening, but
Obviously, nobody's for sex
Yeah,
trafficking.
exactly.
That's
But
I mean,
like-
except for sex traffickers,
sex
I guess.
traffickers, right?
I guess sex
And the people-
traffickers
they're-
are people too. I guess.
I guess
I don't
they
like
are.
to.
I know. How do you say
I
that?
don't really want to
No.
qualify them as people, but
They-
it also does us a disservice to call people who commit ultimate evil acts not human, because it's absolutely human to do that.
It is human to do
So
that. You're right.
I stand by my. They are people
they're-
too.
I
They're
guess
just really bad people.
Put them in the predator class.
Absolutely,
They're
well,
predator
maximum,
class,
maximum predator. That
But-
is the worst kind.
They never go after the church though.
Yeah,
They
of course
never
not.
go. I know. They never go dude like that movie the girl in the Vatican. Have you seen that or heard about that one? It's about the little girl that lived. It's on Netflix, but it's this girl that was like a violin player, young, beautiful, promising, I think 12-year-old girl that went missing because the Vatican's got like its own police state and shit.
Of
It's like
course,
it's like they're all protecting, and this one pope kept bringing that, and she disappeared, and the family's like, what the fuck, and
Yeah.
and it's all like, what are we gonna do? We live in the Vatican, and like it's like just a giant cult is what it is. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened to those cults too. But the thing with the cults though is since these people were brainwashed, they are pushing their kids like, no, marry him, marry the guy, 13-year-old daughter, 8-year-old
Yep.
daughter, marry him,
Uh-huh.
and then he's gonna beat you and rape you whenever he wants. But that's God. That's as far as we're
Yep.
concerned, because we're done thinking right now, dude.
Yep.
He's thinking for us,
And that's a huge topic right now. Actually, not even just in cults. I think it was something like 35 states or something have it or don't have it. They don't have laws against marriage under 18.
really
Like for people, yeah, like 35 states, something like that. We need to.
that seems.
I need to.
We need
No,
to
I
get
need.
one of
I need
those.
to establish that I don't have the exact number on that, but it is a large amount of states
More than we're
around
probably
there.
wanting.
Yeah, way more. And there are just super ironically, there are Republicans in these states who are like there are Democrats putting up bills saying that we should establish a minimum age for marriage, and the state Republicans are 100% against it, saying that it strips the parents their parental rights to allow their children to do whatever they think is best for their children,
What?
while also putting up bills that prevents any kind of gender affirming care for trans kids, regardless of whether their parents approve it or not. in exact diametric opposition to their previous stance on parental rights. I've talked about this on here before, that pointing out their idiosyncrasies and their just absolute doublethink
I know.
opposite behavior. It does us no good because it's not. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't give a fuck.
But it's
but
a
it
good
is
reminder.
it is good to point
Yeah.
out. I think just because it's just absurd, and just for anybody who thinks that they have your best interests in mind is, it's just asinine.
And that's a problem, when if you have 20 people in a room and only 2 of them are sensible human beings that can think for themselves, you're kind of at the fucking mercy of like the other fucking 18. And especially if they're, none of these people are like, I wish I was, even if I was physically fit enough to take on 3 of them, it's like, that's you're outnumbered, man.
Yep.
And that's if you brainwash enough fucking people to think a certain way, we're all fucking in trouble, man. And we know that, but
very clearly,
that's why we need to band together more.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's part of what this is. And like what you were building at your space and like what we are all trying to do as artists. And like, which, speaking of which, unfortunately, I got to go pretty damn soon.
Yeah.
But the next one, let's get into we didn't even touch it, but let's get into the writer's strike and
Oh
stuff.
man,
I'm
yeah,
sure that'll still be going on.
We have so many topics to cover. We got
know.
the strikes that are happening all over. There's a bunch of them, not just the writers. There's actors. There's
You think
there's even
musicians-
hotel workers happen. Like
Oh,
they're
really? It's
starting.
getting that big.
UPS is going to be striking soon,
Oh.
or supposedly. And there's like a bunch of things to talk about that, and that's all awesome. Love it. Workers' rights.
Yeah.
There's the billionaires absolutely blunk out of existence at the bottom of the ocean.
interesting.
So that's pretty sweet.
That's interesting.
Maybe that's all we have to do to cover that because that's it's been covered
A little bit.
But just that's pretty funny.
One of my favorite topics, and that has exploded.
Trump's things.
Yep, he's always there.
Oh man, his court cases. We probably got to get into that
gotta get into
because
that.
woo baby.
This is all right now. We're showing you like future episodes of the
preview.
series. It's going to be also the alien shit's gone crazy
Heyo.
since last time we talked.
We
which
definitely need to be talking
I
about
always
that.
threw that in there, but we didn't really have anything to talk about. But now we actually
got some
fucking
stuff.
do.
All right,
And
we got to
then
get into it.
Just the whole pandemic in general and all of that happened and how everyone's what I
What
want
are
to
we
know
doing?
your feelings on it and
Yeah.
big pharma and all these things. I'm just
Oh, yeah.
curious what we've settled on for now
Mm-hmm.
between the two of us because I'm curious how much we've both picked up.
Yeah,
and
like
thought.
how we've come away from this
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like the lessons we've learned from COVID and
Which are probably none. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Not
like,
as a
just
group.
like what the
I don't
fuck.
think
Well,
anything's
the only
different.
lesson that should be gleaned from that is universal health care is not only a good idea, it is necessary
Yep.
if we are going to be continuing on as a country, because we are absolutely getting eviscerated.
Yeah. We got the worst healthcare system
Oh,
out
boy.
of like
Yep.
it's rough.
Yep, we have like the lowest life expectancy of any
Yeah.
developed nation at this point, or maybe not any, but we're really low on the list.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was something like we're like 50. I think we fell out of the top 50. I think we're like 51st in life expectancy now,
God damn.
and it's just like what in the absolute ball fuck.
You're lucky if you live to 70, I've learned. If once my dad died at 74, I started kind of looking at it. It just seems like a lot of people die in their 70s. But
That's what I think life expectancy here is like.
Kinda in
I think it's 70 now.
something going on.
It's-
Yeah, and
it used to be up like pushing closer to 80.
Yep. And you got to do some real work, especially if you're someone like me, to pull up out of that. And the problem with me is like some days I care to live and other days I don't so much.
don't,
I
yeah.
never like straight up want to take my gun and go blow my head off
Right.
yet.
Yeah.
But
not that I'm above that. I'm like any of
I
us
flipped
are.
through the brochure. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I've thought about
Like, what are the reasons
happens? And
not
I
to?
play it
Yeah.
out. But,
Sure.
I got kids
Ideation.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I
it's
feel-
I don't know if it's better that you have kids or don't have kids or not. I don't know if it's better to have if it's harder to want to live not having kids.
I don't know.
I don't either because I don't know if it
That's an
matters.
experiment that you can't really like
I know.
come back from.
Because
All right, I'm gonna see if I'm less suicidal if I have kids.
I know.
But then I want to be like, all right, well that experiment's over. There's
You
not really
can't.
much I can do.
That's what sucks about being a dad is there's no
There's no undo.
There's no undo.
Control
You
Z.
can't be bad at it. I mean, there are plenty of people that are, but you're not allowed to be like, hey, I'm just. I say honestly I'm like I'm not that great at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
I mean, that is so much better though, dude. To just be like, hey, I'm a fucking human being. I'm not good at this. I've never done it before.
Yeah. and I don't like
and
it
I'm
that
not
much.
gonna do it again. Like
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. Like I have my child rearing time,
Yeah.
and then after that, I
It's
will not be
over.
rearing any children anymore
No.
unless you're like become a famous actor. Like
Yeah, one of those guys that gets to have them when they're like 70.
who was the one that just got like
Fucking
just had a
Scarface.
kid.
Fucking yes, fucking Scar.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his fucking name?
De Niro. No,
No,
no, that's the other one.
he's like the new
Oh
one.
my god, this is so bad.
I'm there too with you. Al Pacino.
Pacino.
Yeah.
That's it. Bingo.
Oh yeah, or hooyah, or whatever.
Hooyah.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
I know. I guess you can do that if you're Al Pacino. We'll end it on the Al Pacino note, my
Yeah.
friend. That
Sounds
has
good.
been nice. I
Yes.
really missed this.
This has been excellent.
I could go on and talk to you
I know.
honestly for another like hour or shit.
Yeah.
But I got to get home and start drinking.
There you go, man.
Are you? Do you
got
drink?
priorities.
Are you drinking anymore?
Yeah. I'm now that I'm not working at a bar. I imagine I'm going to be drinking a lot less, which
yeah.
is great.
Yeah.
Probably hitting the sauce a little too hard there, but it's a industry hazard.
It's hard to not drink for me.
Yeah.
It's hard to get 7 o'clock rolling around and not want to have one of them nice feelings in my body that because 2 drinks makes me normal. It makes me feel like how I want to feel.
Just like a little more relaxed.
Yeah.
A little less anxious, maybe.
Almost fun. Like
almost a fun human being.
Yeah,
even.
like I kind of have like
Wow.
fun. Like life can
like
be,
fun thoughts.
Yeah, I turn on music and have little dance parties with.
Oh, wow.
I'll do that, but generally the rest of the time it's like, hey, what bills do we got enough for that?
Right.
Oh yeah, there's some more age spots. What's that in my wrist? So it feels
Man,
probably like arthritis.
Should my wrist be making that sound?
Yeah, it's bad. Dude, we'll get into that stuff. But I love you, James.
I love you too, Casey.
All right. And I love all of you, whoever's listening.
Yes.
Maybe 3 of you, hopefully, right? We can start with 3. I don't give a shit.
A couple of my friends are excited to
Your
hear
friends are
we're
the
getting.
best. I like your
Aw.
friends.
They're
They
all
do
right.
listen.
I might keep them.
You should.
Yeah.
Well, we got Reed. We got
Reed,
Danny.
we got Danny.
Kelly.
Is that it?
Those are 3 I know.
No, there's plenty of people out there. If we didn't list your name,
It's just because I
you
don't know who
should
you are.
try harder to be my friend. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, work harder.
Come through me so I can have more friends. James has enough friends.
I've
need
got
more.
too many.
He's got
where
too many.
I can't even remember past 3 of them.
I remember 3 of your friends.
There
I
we
can't. I don't have any of my own. No, I'm just kidding.
Now
All right,
everybody
buddy.
loves you, Casey.
I don't know. I'm old.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
All right, see you guys.